Dun dun dun! Hey everybody! It's me, John Park. Welcome to my workshop. Thanks for coming by today. I am going to check out the Discord chat and the YouTube chat. And Charles, I just went on. Hey, Noam Pedro. Hey, Mark DeVink. Hey, Matambale. So we've got the YouTube chatters and we've got the Discord chatters. And there's our Discord chatters. And I'll make a mess and drag the YouTube chatters up there too. Hey, look. There you are. Is there an echo? I hope there's not an echo. Let me check. I've got that turned down. Ooh. Stand by. All right, so I've got, hopefully you can hear that now, and no more sound, okay. Thank you for your patience. I gotta go check some Wirecast preferences for audio. All right, so do we have audio and no echo? You tell me that. Is the workshop more cavernous today? Yeah, that's it. Ah, echo. Hold on. There's probably some pass-through. Hey, Noam Pedro, if you remember long ago when you got your Wirecast set up, what to turn off in... Hold on one second, let me pause. All right. I just turned off sound in the YouTube, just in case that was passing through. Hi, Robert Yao. Audio with some echo. All right. This is compelling TV right here. And echo check. Echo check. How's sound now? Question mark. Elvis used echo sometimes. I'll have a blue Christmas without you. Same echo, okay. Stand by. Ooh. I had a second Wirecast open. Let me turn that off. Oh, there we go. I think I fixed it. Did I fix it? I'm not going to sing any more Elvis now. Stop with the Elvis? No way, I'm not stopping with the Elvis. All right, maybe I'm stopping with Elvis. How's now? No? What do you mean no? No echo or echo? Because there was a monitor open in Wirecast that also had sound, and I turned it off. Nope, to echo, still light echo, or no, no change, okay. Well, let's see, brilliant. Oh, let me check the settings on. And now, what do you get now? Oh, I also had a microphone slightly on, a second microphone. Let's see if it was that second microphone. Tell me about my echo. Perfect, okay. Hey, great. So, here, I'll show you what the problem was. Excuse me with the moving camera for a second here. That knob right there is for that microphone right there for voiceover, and that was slightly on. That I think there were actually several problems, but that was the final one. All right. So we're off to a good start in under 10 minutes. We are now ready to go. Yeah, fail share. Check your multiple sources. That's what I say. Pre-show is always a good idea. That's a great idea. That's going to be my New Year's resolution. For 2018, I will have a pre-show that will start 10 minutes early, and we'll just hang out and fix junk like that. Yeah, this is a Shure mic that I've had since I was a singer back in the 90s. Not doing Elvis impressions, but yeah, I've had that thing for a long time. I used to beatbox into it. I used to sing into it. Shure SM58 is indestructible. Everyone who's ever sung rock and roll has had these, or even pointed them at their drums or whatever. Great mic. So in the pre-show, Noe and Pedro turn off the mic during the intro and then forget. Yes, this is hard to do. I don't mean to complain, but it's a lot of stuff that we're trying to manage. So thank you for always being patient with how much we fumble through these things. So broadcasting today. Live. Oh, you worked at Shure. John Schaffstyle worked at Shure for 4 years, he says. That's really cool. If you're in the YouTube chat, you've seen this. If you're in the Discord chat, that's where that's happening. So you missed the auditorium effect. Matambale, how's this? All right, that probably echoed horribly. So sorry. All right, so let's get to the program. What I want to talk about today, first off, I've shared this a couple times, but I'm super excited about it, so I'm going to share it one more time. And that is these little edge-lit NeoPixels, or edge-light NeoPixels. It's essentially a NeoPixel strip. Let me put this in the overhead. My little down shooter camera. Oh, I've named these wrong. Oh, that's going to screw me up. Okay, so here's my little down shooter. So here's a regular, I've got a big wire in the way. Here's a regular strip of NeoPixels, or, yeah. So that, oh, I got a little focus issue there. I'm going to zoom you in a bit and see if we can lock in on a focus. Okay, stay there. So this is your regular NeoPixels with a little RGB LED and the chip and all that facing up, which is cool for certain situations if you're trying to wrap lights around something. But if you're trying to go along the edges of like a monitor or something, now we can bend in this other angle because the little teeny LEDs are pointed out this way. And the thing I noticed the other day is that if you get the 120 per meter NeoPixels, they fit perfectly into each other. So you can make a really, really dense strip. I don't have anything to plug this into at the moment, so check out my Instagram or Twitter to see that in action. I also showed it on the show and tell yesterday, but that's kind of cool. And then I just did a little funny stuff in the code so that when I'm sweeping up through these, I light up pixel 0 and pixel 18, pixel 1 and pixel 17 and so on. So you need kind of an extra line to say whatever I is, let's do 18 minus I as we work our way through. So anyway, those things are pretty cool. And what those got me thinking about is the use of NeoPixels for lightsabers. So my project for today is going to be a lightsaber project. So I figured it was appropriate because this is the day the new Star Wars comes out, right? Show of hands, everyone who's going to go see it today or tonight. I'm a terribly lame Star Wars fan because I haven't gotten tickets yet, so I don't think I'll be seeing it tonight. Probably every theater in LA is pretty crazy full. And so, but I thought it would be fun to make a play around with some lightsaber stuff today. So let me switch over to this view. And how about that bench cam? Let me, oh, yeah, let's head over here. And I've got that lens way zoomed in, so let me pull that one out a little bit. And let's see if My hotkeys are still working for my little camera switcher box, which I've been thinking about upgrading. Adding some lights to it for one thing, so it shows me. Oh, I don't think it's plugged in. Hang tight. So here's a fun story. You know that clock I built, that little Metro Mini based clock? I had that plugged in. Normally I just have that plugged into power, but since it's a Metro Mini, I had it plugged into USB, and I was uploading some of this NeoPixel code to a full-size Metro. I had the wrong board picked in the ports, and it uploaded the NeoPixel code over to the clock. That was at 3:08 yesterday, and the reason I figured that out was today. I came in and I was like, why is this clock stuck at 3:08? And then I realized that's what I was accidentally uploading to. So let's see if these are... Yeah, those are now working. Okay. So if I stand here, you can see me. Good. And let's put that one full view. Okay. So here was my idea. There's a few things we can do with lightsaber builds. So one thing is taking existing toy lightsabers and adding lights to them, which is pretty cool and pretty fun. This is an old beat up one that was my son's. He's 14 now and he's not playing with it anymore, so I swiped it from his closet. These are a little telescoping plastic one. This one doesn't have any lights or sounds or anything. It's just, you know, up to you to go and you can see it got some pretty good use. There's another one here somewhere that I had and I've lost it just in the last few minutes somewhere in the workshop. So that's one thing we could do, is add lights to this. But I thought, how about trying to light up something that would really diffuse the light and illuminate beautifully? And I've done some projects before with light tubes using extruded acrylic that has a diffuse finish to it, almost like a sort of textured, slightly white instead of fully transparent, that diffuses light beautifully. But I've had to order that online or go to like a plastics supplier, and I didn't have time to go and do that today. So I thought, how about doing something stupid and dangerous, like cracking open a fluorescent light tube from the workshop and removing some of its toxic innards and then filling it with LEDs, because that'll be fun. So these are these T8 fluorescents, and they're only fluorescents I've ever liked. They're this sort of more modern fluorescent that has a high refresh rate, and they don't buzz, and they don't look flickery. They're really nice bulbs. I've used them in the shop here for a number of years. So I thought we could sacrifice one. It'd be a great project for a burned out one, but for the sake of getting a lightsaber built today, what I thought we would do is remove the metal end cap, at least on one side, and carefully shove some LEDs up in there. So that's what we're going to do. I don't recommend doing this. This is toxic and dumb and dangerous, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we're also going to need to, what I'm going to use is like a meter-long strip of LEDs. Let me pull the there we go. I'm pulling up the message chat so I can hear someone say, don't do that. Wait, stupid and dangerous. Who said my middle names? Yeah. So I tested one way of doing this earlier, which was I applied some heat to the metal end cap and pulled it off, and it's actually still kind of a mostly sealed tube there, so that's no good. So what we're going to do, there's a couple ways you can get into glass like this. One way is to tie a string and light it on fire and then shock it in some cold water. That's how you'll see a lot of people will turn bottles, like wine bottles, into drinking glasses or pint glasses. I'm actually just going to go for the Dremel method. A lot of people are reluctant to cut up glass with a cutting tool, but it works pretty well. So what I'm going to do is measure up the length of a meter-long NeoPixel strip. And I've got a couple of these in various states of hooked up to microcontrollers, so we won't have to do all that from scratch. This is actually a setup that I normally have up in my little display case here, and it's got a feather and a little Bluetooth feather in there, and a battery to kind of keep it going. But I have a different power source, plug-in power source for the strip to give it 5 volts at, I think this is like a 2 amp plug that I've got in there. So the idea behind what I want to build is just a display piece, something you can put on the wall that'll look beautiful, doesn't need to be portable, and therefore we don't have to worry too much about hiding a big 5-volt source in there. So we're just going to let the wires come out the end of it. And I thought we'd see if we could repurpose this decent looking plastic handle here as the hilt or handle on the sword. So let's first of all, you'll see on the tube here, there's a writing on there. It says the name brand of the bulb. So I think we'll cut that off as we make this the proper length for our NeoPixel 1 meter tube. Okay, and we can leave a little extra to go into the hilt here, and then we'll run the wires out. In fact, since I can't add glass back once I take it off, I'm going to start by just cutting it off back here. So I'm actually going to put on a dust mask and some goggles because I really don't want to inhale too much of whatever that foul stuff is that's in there. All right. So let's see. You got a pretty good shot of that. Let me zoom this camera up in, and I'll make that full screen. Oh, that was the one. There we go. Yeah, sorry, my hotkeys are wrong from what I'm used to because of my rebuild of my Wirecast session. Okay, cue earplugs. All right, we left a little bit of a fangy bit there. Let me see if I can clear that up. All right, not too bad. And depending on how we end up mounting that inside of here, I may try to put a little tape or something around the end there, but it's not going to be an exposed part. I'm going to leave the other end alone. I'm thinking this, I may just like paint that bit white because on the other end we've got these. So I could trim these little electrodes or whatever you call them off of here and paint this white because it's going to go just up on the wall. And now let's feed some NeoPixels into there and see how that looks. So let me switch cameras again. Go out to here and there. Okay. So, oh yeah. Let me do the cooking show style. So that's how I opened it. There's a pretty similar one that I've put some NeoPixels in. We'll come back to this one actually. I want to use this one because the end I like, I think, a little better. But this first one here, let me remove. Okay, so what I've done with this one, I initially, if you look in the little camera view, this is the one that I pulled, I heated and it cooked something noxious in there, pulled off the metal cap, and we still have sort of the sealed end. So that's what happened there. And then you can see on this end, I've got a strip of NeoPixels And then remember when I shorted something out dangerously just by twisting stuff together when it was temporary? So this was the solution to that, is these little Wago nuts that I'm using to clip the wires together. So what I've got running here is this yellow wire is running to a Metro, to one of the digital pins. I'm using pin 6. And then I've got a common ground, and then the strip itself is running to one of these little, let me switch cameras again, sorry. I'm running to a little DC plug that has terminals on the end of it so that we can plug into wall power. So let's see there. Come a little closer. That's a good level. Sorry for the camera shake there. So I've got a big capacitor on here to just handle any spikes or sags in the current going to the NeoPixel strip. And so that's just in line, negative to ground, positive to voltage. And then this is a regulated 5-volt, 4-amp power supply, switching power supply. So that should work well. And then I've just pushed this strip up in. Oh, sorry, let me give you a camera view back. So I've just pushed this strip up in to the tube. Now the tube has a coating that I think probably fluoresces as well as diffuses the light. And if you're not careful, you'll scrape that off. So pushing the NeoPixels in, you want to, I don't think you can see it, but I did leave a little trail in here somewhere where it kind of scraped off the powder. So you have to be a little careful of that. And then I've just got a basic sketch running on here. Let me try to, I'm going to try to break my camera mount. Hey, like that. I'm going to slide some stuff forward. Sorry, the workbench has crept closer to me today. For some reason, everything is over on that side. Looks like I was working on the other side of the bench. There we go. Pull that view out for you. And okay, so I've got just a kind of a basic sketch on here that's just going to fill a color wipe from the bottom to the top. You can hear me right now. I'm going to change the batteries in my receiver pack. I think they died. Thank you for warning me, everyone in the chat. Okay, now I've got full battery pack. Sorry about that, everyone. Let me switch over for a second. Thank you for warning me. I actually saw that a little bit quicker than before. Yeah, we can go back a couple of minutes. That was the battery pack in my mic pack, which is a wireless mic pack. The receiver one died, which I don't really get any warning about that. There's nothing visual that I'm going to notice, but I should normally change those out before I start. So thumbs up, everyone can hear me. Thank you, chat, for saving that from being like a half hour of me gesticulating. So yes, let's see what I was talking about. Okay, so this is, let me switch you over to this view. So I was saying, the last thing I was saying is, so this fluoresces really nicely. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it's got a beautiful glow to it. We've got a nice penumbra around it because of this pickup on the light behind the reflecting off of the background of it. So up against a wall in the house, which is what I'm going to do, is I'd like to sort of display this like a light source, if my wife is okay with that. I haven't told her yet, but we'll see. Mime workshop, that's right. So I'm singing Elvis today, and I'm doing mime. It's crazy. So what I was saying, though, is that there are also LED tubes like this, equivalent of this T8 size and whatever the old-fashioned was, a T4, the big fat ones. So there are LED tubes, and they're plastic usually. So those would be a really great source of a nice tube that's meant to have LEDs in it looking good. So I recommend that over what I did here. This is just what I had on hand. And it was fun and dangerous. So what I wanted to do is take the tube that we cut up at the beginning, and I'm going to leave that guy there. Into this one, I'm going to feed the light strip that's connected to Bluetooth. So I may need to extend the wires on this, though. Let's have a look. So here we have this strip here. And on the ends, let me switch your camera up. There we go. So on the ends of these NeoPixel strips, we have a wire that comes pre-connected so that you can sort of daisy chain it onto the next one. So I'm going to remove those for the most part. It's not plugged in, right? I'll leave a little bit so that I could solder to it, but I don't need any of that, and that's what's going to be in the very tip of it. And I think on this other one, did I pull it from its... No, it's still in the rubber silicone sleeving. Okay, so I'll leave that the way it is. And if we're going to get that close to the end, yeah, I'll leave this alone so you're not watching me solder some wires on there, but extending the wires that lead up into it is a good idea here. So you can see I'm going to try to only feed it in so that it's touching the bottom of the tube. You can see there in that camera view. so that I'm sort of scraping away that delicious phosphor dust only from one area that's not going to be seen. It's not bad, it's just you can see like a little line of sort of transparent glass on that side. Now you'll see this feather is actually pretty small. I think I'll be able to fit that inside of the handle and then just run the plugs up into the handle from the bottom, and I would probably try to hide those with a little strip of white media cord hiding stuff, or put a hole into the wall behind it depending on where I do it. Maybe I'll end up displaying this in the shop. Maybe it'll be behind me. Okay, so let's test that out. So what I've got for this one is an old Linksys router plug that's 5 volt, 2.5 amp, so never throw away wall warts unless they're really teeny crappy ones. But that's a pretty decent supply. So that one is running just to the NeoPixels, and then I have a USB 5 volt, micro USB 5 volt that is plugged into the feather, and that's used to charge the battery on the feather, which it doesn't need a battery with this usage the way I had it before. Sometimes this switch was going on and off and I didn't want it rebooting the little Bluetooth feather that's in there. But I'll continue to use it in this application, I think. Now let's find out what I'm about to unplug. All right, that's coming off. And what's that running to? That's this. Okay. I think I just have enough space. I'm going to unplug and replug that one. There we go. Okay, so you'll see from the little yellow light that went on there, this feather has booted up, and now it's looking for a Bluetooth connection. So I'm going to go grab my phone, and I have the Adafruit Bluefruit app running on the phone. So it says peripheral disconnected, so let's go back to that. So just hold this up to the camera here. You can see it has Adafruit Bluefruit LE UART capable listed at the bottom. That is this feather here. And then I'm going to go into the controller and the color picker. Wham! Check that out, huh? Oh yeah! I think that's Ray's lightsaber color, isn't it? Come on! That's a lightsaber for you, huh? Now, I don't have any animations or anything like that built into this, but we can go full Sith. Oh, that's kind of a pinkish Sith. How do we get a nice deep red? No, I'm failing to get a really good juicy red. That's pretty red. Looks pretty Darthy, right? And we can dim it. That's about all we can do from here, though. We can't animate it. Oh, and let's just Yoda this up. Ready? Bwom. So what I think for the final display is that I'm going to maybe, I don't know if any of you have ever done this, but in the Bluefruit software, there's actually this NeoPixels item in here, and I haven't used it. There's essentially some particular code. You need it. Yeah, here it says, notice NeoPixel support requires a custom sketch to be running on your Arduino. So thanks. So you can, I think, pick your NeoPixels and light them up on here. I don't know if that's the extent of it. Maybe Noah and Pedro, I think you guys have played with it. If anyone can speak to what you can do with that. Otherwise, I may end up having to do something else custom with my sketch that's running on there, so that I can control color and animation, which would be pretty fun. So just for a second, I'm going to hold up these lightsabers because that's just fun. Oh yeah, and you can see on the video, it's hard to see these things when they aren't reflecting. Video is terrible for LEDs, but when they have something to reflect the light or bounce the light, they look pretty nice. Okay, so Hey, Azure Skies. Azure Skies, I think you're working on some lightsaber stuff, and I can't remember what, if we've seen that or not, but I know you've said something about your lightsaber stuff. So if you're just joining us, I'm John Park. This is my workshop, and you knew that. And what I'm doing is highly dangerous. I've cut the ends off of fluorescent light tubes and put strips of NeoPixels up in them, because why not? And it's Star Wars Day, and it looks cool. So now let's look at the, this is my son's old lightsaber, so I'm going to see about pulling some of this apart and sticking some of that lightsaber in there. So let's move a lightsaber without cutting off our hand. And I'm going to grab some glasses. What I think they've got is, everything in this thing is just press fit and glued together. So I'm going to try to crack off this circle, and then that may give me what I want. There's like a little end cap they put in. Sorry, am I putting my head in there? Sorry. And then there's a seam along here, so it's two halves that were glued together. I might be able to get away with not breaking that seam, which would be nice. So let's just let me just try with the utility knife at first and see if I can crack the seal on the glue there. And where did oh, here's a spudger. Maybe this will work. So you are working on they sell plastic tubes that are for protecting fluorescent tubes. You get one of those instead of, yeah, definitely safer. Don't do what I've done here. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So I'm getting, oh, that might not even be glued. It's glued there. No, this is kind of like a tightly fit cap. Let me try some big channel lock pliers. How about? They don't twist at all. All right, they're going to have to pry off. How about a giant flathead screwdriver? That one's too giant. This one might work. Do you want to see a giant? Look at this thing. There's a good one. There's a heck of a screwdriver for you right there. I don't think I'll need that one. This one is. There we go. Yeah, I'm cracking some glue or something in there. So if you're joining us, I am now defacing and destroying an old lightsaber toy that was my son's. He doesn't know that I'm doing that, but he's 14 now and has rejected youthful things in favor of a guitar, which I dig, but I probably should have asked him, but he was already at school when I realized that I needed a lightsaber. There we go. Yeah, I guess there was some glue on that, and then they just popped that in there. Oh, good. That just gives me nothing other than that's what caps off the seam here. All right, we're going to go into Destructo mode, I think, to pull that apart. Or the other thought is these tubes probably will fit in one of the telescoping bits of this. So I might try to remove one and then fit it into the next one. So let's see what happens if we remove that. I'm going to just take this to the bandsaw. So hang on, can you see the bandsaw? I'll go to big workshop view. How about? There's the end of a Dremel for no particular reason. That's Inception. All right. I don't have a bandsaw cam, so. All right, so removed some material. Yeah, let's see if it fits into that one. That's not bad. I'm going to try from the other side of that. Let me just check that fit right there. Yeah, that's a good fit. What's in the end of that? Yeah, I think we'll try just drilling this. I'm just going to try to cut some material rather than splitting this in half. I'm going to try to cut some material out of there, nibble that away, and then see what we fit into the end, and we'll still have some cords coming out of the end. So first, since this is plastic, you can get pretty primitive with it and use diagonal cutters and pliers and things to just wiggle off the plastic you don't want. So let's get rid of that and that. Oh look, that is opening. Hey, that's good. That opened easier than I thought. All right. Well, I'm all for that. Let's see if we can just slide that open and get rid of the guts we don't want. Oh, that's the giant novelty screwdriver. I don't need that one. I'll give you the big view of this. There's something, I'm going to stab myself with this. Yeah, there's something there that doesn't want to give. Either they just have a little extra glue there. There we go. Yeah, let's just... Now let's see, we might not need to pull it any further apart than that. So there was a latch that held some of this plastic in place. So that you would use this red button to release it. Oh, and that's how it released. That little button fit into there. All right, well, let's see if we can remove this and set our tube in from the bottom. How about? I think I'll try to just remove a little material actually with the Dremel since I have it out. The tool of convenience. Oh, battery dead. Just in time. I have a lot of dead-ish Dremel batteries. I've refused to buy new ones for about 3 years now, so I'll charge them and they'll give me 15 minutes of use. All right, so you can see I'm just making a little notch here that this cabling can pass through. That's probably enough, but I'll get a little more off of there. If we want, we could do something neat with the cap, like drill nicer holes or put little rubber, what do you call those things? This little kind of gasket-looking hole grommet cover things. Rubber grommet? All right, so there we go. Now, let's see if we can pass. Can we pass the whole fluorescent tube up through there? And I'm going to, just for the purposes of getting this built today in the next 15 or so minutes, I'm going to ignore the fact that we don't have NeoPixels going all the way to the end on that one end so that we can get it built. But I would extend these wires so that we're not lighting stuff up inside of the handle, which we'll be doing today, which is a waste, but that's how it'll be. So let me unplug that, mostly for dramatic effect. And let's try to just, let's see if that fits up in there. What am I bumping into? Okay, that didn't fit from that end. Why? Is that metal thing wide? No? Oh, I bet I just caught on something. Let's see, let me double check that. there something obstructing it? There is. Oh, there's a little ridge. Okay, there's a little bump in this guy at his base. So let's pop that out. I think now that we have the bottom open, we can take that off. Blitz City DIY, he will have the most custom upgraded, one-of-a-kind lightsaber. That's a good point. That's a good sales tactic. Oh, I think these are designed to not come out of each other. So let me pull the whole guts out. I want it as a sleeve to protect the sides of it because it's just conveniently sized. Okay, so that, yeah, these have like a little smaller diameter at the end. That is what is preventing this from coming out of the bottom or the top, which is what we need it to do. Let me try to force it out. Bent it up a little bit. Let's see if that slips through now. I'm going to get some pliers. All right, so that sleeve bit there, I don't think, yeah, you know what, I'm going to put it on from this back end and feed the, I'm going to have to refeed the NeoPixels, I think, up through there, but this will give me a neat, let's think this through. If we have this on here, we'll want this on first, huh? Well, let's try just with this one. All right. I think I might just use some tape for cushion to hold that in there. Or a little piece of this. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a little collar that slips in there. I'm just going to get some scissors. Put it the other way so that it pressure fits in. Okay, that should probably be shorter. So I'll go back and trim that, but for the sake of the show, I'll leave it. That's going to extend further than the handle, I think now. Oh no, yeah, probably will, because this doesn't go all the way into there. All right, so let's see. I think I'm going to ditch some of these internals. And I'll probably just put something else for the button or attach this button from the outside. It's actually a nice piece of springy steel there. All right, let's see if we can put this through. And yeah, it's a good question if we'll have enough space to fit the feather and the battery that's in there. I could also ditch that battery. That's kind of the biggest piece. And all right, that might fall out. This thing hasn't shattered in my hands yet is already kind of a triumph. That's kind of dicey. Let me remove some more of that plastic. Or this stuff. Let me get rid of that. We don't need that. There's the little catch. A little spring, which is dying to rattle around in there. And then I'm going to trim off these little plastic posts that were part of that operation that the spring was wound around, and I don't know what this piece is, but it's going. As is this. Really, the neat way to do this would be to fully pull this apart and then rejoin it so that you can carefully attach the feather and not do this dangerous sliding maneuver that I'm about to do. Boy, that helps the lightsaber look cool. Having a handle. Oh, it's not bad, and it's real stable in there. And yeah, I just saw myself on camera holding a lightsaber, which is super cool. So let's turn it on. How about, because I just can't wait. There might still be stuff to do, but. Okay, it's kind of a ridiculous thing in the modern era that you need to turn on your phone to use your lightsaber. But there you have it. All right, let's go over here. This would be so disastrous to sword fight with. All right, let's go back. So in the phone app, as you can see here, it disconnected when I turned it off. I must have unplugged the whole thing, I guess. So let's go to controller, color picker, and sorry, I'm gonna turn the chat back on because I'm, as soon as I can get this thing done, I'm making a YouTube video. Oh, good, Azure Skies, that's awesome. And what are we gonna do? Let's do this kind of ray color. She's got this blue, right? So it looks kind of white and glowy on camera, I know. You can see we've got the nice blue glow there. I'm going to smash it into the ceiling. All right, let's go green. I think that's probably one of the stronger. There we are. Okay, so got to take care of that little cap there. Got to get the wires up so that I can push the NeoPixels further. But you know, one thing I'm pretty pleased with, if you look, and I'm going to see if I hold up some paper under it, if you get a little better view. What can sometimes spoil these types of effects is seeing individual pixels, and I'm not really getting that here, which is great. Let's see. Yeah, it's so overblown out. I don't know if this camera will. I'm going to go to the little close-up cam for a second. So if you look there, and let me give you the, I don't know if that helps or not. Let me mess with the exposure on this one. Let's see, the whole thing is upside down. Come here. How do you flip that? It's not letting me flip the UI, but let's see. I can read that upside down. So exposure, drop that down. There. So you can notice as I move and rotate this, there's actually very little of that telltale. There's the line. See that little line? That's where I dragged the pixels through and it just scraped that dust off. So that's what will go against the wall. This side is clear. But I'm not getting any of the dark sides of the NeoPixel or the individual dots where it's up against the wall, which is great, because one thought for this kind of a project is to put 2 strips of NeoPixels or 3 of them, or use some of the side lights and the regular ones just so you get even coverage. But the coverage is really nice and even looking with this using the fluorescent tube, which I'm super excited about. So there we have a pretty decent Star Wars lightsaber build for the day. Thanks, Blitzcity DIY. Yeah, I wish I could. Let me try to change the exposure for a second so that you can get a nice view of it. And I'm going to try to clamp this. Let's see if I put this in a vise over here. And yeah, so the main thing will be hiding those cables so that it looks clean. Oh, good, these wires are just long enough. This is dicey at best. Can I get this wire up and around here? All right, this is where it's all going to fall and break. If you're tuning in to see exciting, dangerous, bad ideas come to life, you've come to the right place. All right, does that seem stable? It seems pretty stable. Okay, so let me first just try to mess with the exposure on the camera. Let's see. Now this camera tends to cut out when I touch things on it, so we'll see. All right, can I do it? There you go. Well, that's darker on your view. That's a bit better. And I think you can see a little bit from that view what I'm talking about. There's like a sweet side here where I see the side of the strip. And here it's really close to this material, so I am seeing individual NeoPixels. But if I come around to here, those fell again. Looks pretty good. So it might be worthwhile to put a maybe some wire or something, a little tiny dowel to stiffen it so that it wants to stay right in the center as best as you can, but really not too necessary. Like that would be maybe overkill. So let's do some, here's some different saber colors. I don't know, has anyone got a yellow saber? That's weird looking. I hope no one in the Star Wars universe has a yellow saber, but all bets are off with like the cartoon, the animated series, I should say. Didn't Mace Windu have some sort of purple lightsaber? I think that was Samuel Jackson's condition, is that he would have choice of color on his lightsaber, and then he did that role. All right, so that's what I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed the lightsaber build. The code for it's dead simple. I actually used some NeoPixel example code and trimmed away a whole bunch of the fat and just am using color wipe, and then made it have a couple settings so I can go in one direction or another for this animated one you see over here. And the other one is just straight up Bluetooth, Bluefruit Connect kind of stuff. So there are the lightsabers. I am sorry to say I'm not going to go and smash these together for you because I want to try to finish these off and mount them to my wall. But happy Star Wars Day to you all, and thanks for coming by to John Park's workshop. I will hang around in the chat on YouTube and Discord now for a little while, and we will see you next time. Also, a little plug. I'm going to be doing a Tuesday of the coming week, Tuesday at, I believe it's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to be doing an unboxing of AdaBox 006. So tune in. I'm going to go through all the contents, and I'm going to show you some of the projects and guides and things that we have. So that should be pretty cool if you've got your AdaBox 6 or you're going to be getting one. And if you haven't, you'll be able to at some point get the non-subscription version of it that's pretty much the same as the subscription one, but it lacks a couple of items. I think the collectible pin and maybe something else. Maybe that's it. So I'm going to head over to the chat, and I will see you guys from this view. All right. Thanks, everyone, and may the Force be with you. Bye.